Democrats made the case this week and beyond this week that Donald Trump, if elected, will impose a federal ban on abortion if he wins. Now, Donald Trump says he won't, but can you commit, Senator, sitting right here with me today, that if you and Donald Trump are elected, that you will not impose a federal ban on abortion?
I can absolutely commit that, Kristen, and Donald Trump has been as clear about that as possible.
Now, look, I am going to make the case that that is generally a very dishonest thing, but I don't think that it's literally dishonest. When she says, can you commit that you won't do this? And he says, I can absolutely commit. I think he can because I don't think he cares what he says and he knows that there's no consequences. Like, what would it matter if he said we won't ban it nationally and then they do? What's the cost to that? I'll tell you exactly what the cost is because I've lived through it. Shows like this will remind everyone that you lied, and it will still be illegal. That will be it. Actually, that's the whole thing.
Yep.
It doesn't reverse the law. There's no consequences. Every single one of those Republicans on the Supreme Court said Roe v. Wade is settled law. I would never, ever kill Roe v. Wade. And when they got the chance to do it, they did it because they're monsters and that's what they do.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
So, Francesca, the idea that if they get the elected, necessarily you've got a Republican Senate and a Republican House at that point. They've said that they want to ban abortion. They're going to pass a bill, and Donald Trump is going to veto it.
Never going to happen.
Would you like to sign up to gamble your rights and control of your body on that? What do you think?
Absolutely not. No, it will never happen, and he doesn't care. He's shown in his campaigning that he does not care about the majority of Americans. He doesn't care about winning over new Americans. He doesn't care about, I mean, he's cagey on this subject, but it is all just red meat for the most extreme. It's all red meat for the Christian nationalist, the Christian fundamentalist base. And JD Vance is one to talk. That guy has some of the most reactionary ideas about women and families and absolutely would relish in an abortion ban. And the other thing that I've seen, not JD or Trump say, which is just waffling and yes, proud of Roe, but there should be consequences, but I don't know if I'll, pass an abortion ban. Put that over on the side. Other right wingers say things like, well, of course he wouldn't pass an abortion ban because he might not have control of the Senate or the House. And so, in other words, Democrats would have to stop it. And we all know they would. And so it's up to Democrats, but he would try. Like, no matter which way you slice it, whether the people are being, either just openly dishonest or bad faith dishonest, they're both lying about whether or not there would be an abortion ban. The question is, how many weeks would it be, right? It might not be 6 weeks. It might be more like 15. None of this is actionable. If there are like carve outs for incest or rape, none of that means anything. There would absolutely be a ban.
100%. Yeah. No, it's conceivable, but it's not going to happen that he gets in the Democrat. Like, it would be just so unlikely. Possible, but unlikely. And they definitely want it. And we already know JD Vance is an absolute radical on the topic of abortion. He is being so fake there. He is just salivating at the idea of women having their rights stripped away. He's also salivating at the couch at the corner, but he's salivating a lot of things. And so to hear him lying about it, I don't buy it. You don't buy it. I want to give everyone a chance to hear Senator Elizabeth Warren, who I think had a great response to what you just saw in that last clip.
I want to start off by getting your reaction to what you just heard from Senator J.D. Vance. He says that if legislation banning abortion at the federal level arrived on Donald Trump's desk, if he were to be elected, he believes he would veto it. What's your reaction to that, Senator?
American women are not stupid, and we are not going to trust the futures of our daughters and granddaughters to two men who have openly bragged about blocking access to abortion for women all across this country. Look, right now where we are is if Donald Trump and J.D. Vance take the White House, they have current law, the Comstock Act, which, with the right person that they put into the Department of Justice and one of their extremist judges out in the world, they can actually ban all access to abortion all across this country. And understand, when I say ban access to abortion, I don't mean with, exceptions for rape or incest or a 16-week ban. I mean ban it for every woman anytime she needs it. Because once they take the medications off the market, once they take the surgical instruments off the market, they're not there. And so for any woman who's in the middle of a miscarriage, who goes into an emergency room and discovers there's no medication and no treatment for her because abortion has been banned nationwide, they can thank Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Honestly, I hadn't heard it talked about in that exact way. I think that was very powerful. What do you make of it, Francesca?
No, I think that's great. I mean, we've been talking a little bit about the Comstock Act based on mifepristone, right, and access to medication abortions, which are the vast majority of abortions because they are early term abortions, and I love how succinct, how perfectly someone like Senator Warren is explaining this to the American people, and I hope we hear a lot more of that. And of course, John, it would be on some sly old ass legislation, some regulation that they can on an executive order just enact like that, like the Comstock Act.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to make sure that we get to one other bit of JD Vance's interview, and before we go to this last shot, why are they sending him out on these interviews? They seem like disasters uniformly. Like, I've seen on Twitter some right wingers think that these are good answers, like they're convincing people, but I don't buy it. What I'm hoping comes out of all of this is that, like, if Trump and Vance lose, like, Vance obviously won't have helped, but maybe it's not obvious to them. Maybe the MAGA movement convinces themselves that Vance is actually still a good successor to Donald Trump and don't realize that he doesn't have the juice. He doesn't have a single drop. I mean, that would make for a really exciting 2028, I think, is if they don't get the memo that he's terrible as a politician.
Terrible. He cannot even order donuts like a human.
Oh my God, that made me so uncomfortable.
Why are they so bad at being normal?
I don't know. They don't like people.
Exactly.
They don't like people.
Here's the exercise. Go be normal. Don't know how.
Go be normal. Try. Watch a person on film and just act like that.